Welcome to the Irresistible You podcast. This is the place to get a dose of empowerment to create the life you crave and deserve. My name is Amy with 2 E's, and I'm the CEO and founder of Irresistible University. Through my podcast and courses, I teach women just like you how to ditch the body image issues, gain confidence, and lose the emotional weight to look and feel irresistible at any size. Before we get into today's episode, I want to remind you about the private VIP podcast. I took my signature course and turned it into a VIP private podcast. That means when you enroll into Irresistible University, not only are you getting the online course with all the video lessons, all the workbooks, the worksheets, you are also gaining access to the private podcast feed, which means you can take the course with you on the go and listen just like you're listening to me right now on your favorite podcast app. If you want to learn more and go ahead and snag your seat, head on over to irresistibleicing.com/course. That link is also in the show notes. All right, welcome back to today's episode. If you are listening on YouTube, I am sorry to say this is only going to be an audio version. I am not filming today. I am behind on my YouTube editing. I have at least 2 episodes that I've already published here on the podcast, but I just need to get the video podcast up on YouTube. So kind of leads into today's topic where I am just a little bit behind right now. And April has been an absolute shit show. It's almost the end of April and I'm just sitting here like, I don't even understand what's going on and how we got here. But for those of you that tuned in to last week's episode, I just want to say thank you. And for everyone that has reached out to me, whether it was in a text or a DM or, has said something so sweet and kind on social media, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It has been incredibly hard losing my baby Chuy, and it's still very raw and it's still very fresh and still lots and lots of hard moments. And some days are easier than others. And, it's just, there's a lot of things you have to process when you lose your pet, and it's not easy. And like yesterday, we were cleaning out the garage, getting ready for summer and pool season and all of that. And his gates and his steps are out there, and, some of those things we're donating. And I told Frank, I said, I have to walk away. You go ahead and put it in the truck. I can't watch, so there's a lot of hard moments. And then when I walked up to our bedroom, Frank had, with my blessing, he had removed his crate and his bed and his bowl. It's time. It needs to go. But it's jarring. I literally stopped in my tracks when I walked in the room because it's just so surreal and hard. And I've had to remind myself that there's a lot of things going on in April, even outside of losing Chuy, just adulting and working and things like that. And I've had to remind myself that you got to give yourself some grace and patience, that you are you're not operating at your full mental, emotional capacity. But I'm trying really hard and I am pushing through and also honoring when I need to just be sad. And I am so I have my good moments, I have my bad moments, but we're getting through it. And, this past weekend was Easter. And one of the things that we started doing, kind of like a tradition that Frank and I started, is that on Easter, we like to go somewhere outdoors and do something active. Usually, always that included going on a walk and bringing Chuy with us. And, unfortunately this year that wasn't the case. So we went bike riding. And Chuy did used to go bike riding with us way back in the day. Over the last few years, I just thought it was too much for him with his back and his, just getting older and, how bumpy it can be. But anyway, we went on a bike ride and it is 4 miles each way. For those of you that are local, we go out of Back Bay Wildlife Refuge and you bike all the way down to False Cape State Park, which is amazing. I've done it via bike many times and I've done it via kayaking a couple of times, and it's such a great little adventure. And when you get to False Cape State Park, you're in the woods, but you're literally then half a mile from the beach. And it's this beautiful, secluded beach. There's nobody there because no one else is crazy enough to do 4 miles on a bike or walking. But it's really nice. Even on a holiday, there was literally one other family who was there for a few minutes. Other than that, we were the only ones on the beach. It's such a nice little adventure, and it's just enough for the kids where it pushes them a little bit, but it's not too much. And you do have to prep, you've got to bring a lot of food and drinks and things like that. But it's a pretty easy bike ride in the sense that it's flat. I mean, I'm in the Tidewater area of Virginia. We don't really have many hills or definitely no mountains. However, there are a couple of spots where you do have to, I wouldn't even call it a hill. It's honestly not, but you do have to go uphill a little bit, just a bit. So we did that on Easter, and the day before we found a park at the beach that I had never been to before, which is wild being native to this area. Like, I feel like bored sometimes that I feel like I've done everything and anything around here, but I found this new little park with a lot of trails. Most of them were paved for bike riding. So we did that, and that one did have a little bit more uphill with it. And I swear to you, I'm getting to a point here. So as I was biking, and of course it's always harder going uphill. It's always that uphill battle, right? And going downhill is very easy. And my brain is always just, attaching meaning to things. And as I was going downhill on this one little section on my bike, I got to thinking how, there's that the saying downhill is used in so many different ways, right? It's used for positive and negative. And you'll hear a lot of times when you turn 40, over the hill, it's all downhill from here. And people mean typically that, getting old sucks and this and that, and things get harder. And I thought, when I'm on my bike, I can't wait to get to the top so I can go downhill. Why does downhill have to be such a bad thing? I am at a place in my life where I don't need to have a pissing match with you. I don't need to sit here and, be the big balls in the room. I don't give a shit about those things. And I want my life to feel easy. I don't need to be the big shot in the room. I don't want to be. I don't want to be the project manager. I don't want to be the end all be all for this bullshit. Like, I don't want that responsibility. I don't want that stress in my life, because I've been there, done that, got the souvenir, not interested in doing it again. And so I'm very intentional about the type of work that I select, the type of work that I will do, and the way that I structure my life. I want my life to feel like I'm coasting downhill in the most positive way. I don't want things to feel hard. And that's not always our choice, right? I mean, Chuy's passing is a perfect example. And things are going to happen that we don't have any control over. I get that. But on the things that we do have control over, I just want it to feel like I'm coasting downhill. I want to feel like things are going downhill in that sense. I have said for a very long time, my goal in life is not to be happy, because I think happiness is fleeting. I think happiness is actually very hard energetically. We all like to be happy, but I think to have happiness as a goal and to want to feel happy all the time, that exhausts me. To me, that feels absolutely draining and exhausting. What my goal in life is to feel peace. I can feel peace and not be overly happy, overly sad. I just appreciate the feeling of not having anxiety. I appreciate the feeling of being comfortable and happy with my choices. I appreciate the feeling when I can go to bed and not feel like I'm being pulled in 8,000 directions and, oh my God, I forgot to do this. And oh my God, I forgot to do that. And listen, even though that's my goal and that's what I strive towards, and I'm very intentional and very choosy about what I do and what I don't do and what I won't put up with, I'm not always in a season of peace. And that's okay. And sometimes it just be like that, right? Like it just be like that. And there was an opportunity, being my own business and being an instructional design consultant and contractor, I get different opportunities sent to me. And one of the opportunities that recently came across my desk, they needed someone immediately. Cool, I have openings. But they were very set in that they needed this person from 9 to 5. And for those of you that know me, one of my core principles, my core values is that I chose to work for myself so that I wasn't tied to a schedule. Now, I have a schedule that I work every single day, but that's on my terms. And if a company is looking to fill someone to sit in a desk from 9 to 5, that's just not going to be a good fit for either one of us. And I have been very clear with anyone that I speak with and say, listen, one of my non-negotiables here is I have to have the autonomy of my own time. I work in the mornings, usually up until like 1 or 2 o'clock. I will come back in the evenings if I have to and put in work and put in hours. But that's up to me to decide, okay? And anyway, I'm just going with that because I want to share with you like how I am intentional about my peace, how I am intentional about how I set up my life. Going back to the fact that there are so many things that are always coming at us and we don't always have control over, and some seasons are going to feel more chaotic than others. I swear I talked about this last year about how what the fuck is going on with the month of May. The month of May is insane. And it starts in April. And this is what I am so, and this is something I'm trying to work through because I don't know all the answers right now. But I'm so sick and tired of life rushing me. And it feels like there's this invisible hand that is constantly pushing on my back and saying, I know you're not ready for this season, but we're going to push you, bitch. Like, it's time to make choices. They started in August with the Halloween shit, and y'all know I love me some Halloween. I am the Halloween queen up in here, but like, girl, let me live. Let me enjoy the last couple weeks of the summer with my children. Let me enjoy this swimming pool before I have to cover it up. Like, I am so tired of life being so demanding and rushing and pushing. And May, have you lost your fucking mind? It's not even in May. It's in February. You start getting the emails to register your kids for school. You start getting the emails to re-register for their sporting events when they're still in the thick of it. Like, I literally cannot. I'm just looking at this list I have here, and, my kids' school is over around Memorial Day. And for months now, they've been putting the marketing emails out to register for September. And they've been putting the marketing emails out to register for summer camp. With the fucking summer camps. I have had it with summer camp. It is ridiculous. I get it from a business standpoint. I'm just out here venting. I get it from a business standpoint. In February, you're forecasting, you're trying to fill your seats for the summer. You need to know how many people there's going to be, and I get it. But I am not financially ready to make that commitment in February, March, April for something that's going to happen in June, July, and August. I'm not there. I'm not there mentally. I'm not there financially, and leave me the fuck alone. And the problem about it is that if you don't enroll and you don't sign up and you don't do the thing, you don't get the seat. And it's just we're in the end of the school year. You're wanting me to sign up for September. I'm trying to get my kids wrapped up. I can't even wrap my head around the fact that school's almost over, first of all. I cannot wrap my head around it. I can't. May's coming up. We've got Teacher Appreciation Week. We've got all of the end of the year stuff, and you don't want to rush it, right? You don't want to rush it away. You want to be mindful. You want to be in the moment. You want to soak up and enjoy the last little bit of this school year, because when it's over, it's over. Last year, I got so emotional when summer was ending, because it's like, thinking of this year, I will no longer have a preschooler and a second grader. I'm going to have a pre-K and a third grader. And then when that year is over, that's it. It's over. And I don't know if it's my personality, if it's how I'm built, I don't know, but I feel things so deeply, and I'm very self-aware of time and the limited amount that we have with our kids, with our animals, with our families, with our everything. And I try to make the best of it, but it's like, we're in school right now. We've got to think about school coming up. We've got to think about camp. Cheerleading. My daughter does competitive cheerleading. We are still in competition season, okay? Cheer does not end until the middle of May. But in March, you best believe in March, they were sending out the registration, and if you sign up before this date, you'll get this much money off. I'm not financially ready to do that, so then you don't get to take advantage of the early bird, right? Because there's all these other things flying at your face that you've got to do. And I got another text message today, hey, is Catalina coming back to cheer? Because if she is, evaluations start in a couple weeks. Can you let us breathe? That has been my one gripe about cheerleading, is they end in May. They have their end of the year ceremony, their end of the year competition. But at the same time in May, they're doing evals for the next coming year. And then in June, they start back to practice. Could we give these kids the summer off and just make it like the school year? Make it like a school year. They start back in September. They end in May or June. Can we breathe up in here? Okay. Then there's the pictures. The cheerleading pictures just came in. The school pictures just came in. And they're out of their fucking minds. They're out of their minds. And we're all going to buy them. We're all going to spend the ludicrous amount of money for these digital images. Right? Am I right? And we're just wrapping out a tax season. Y'all know how I feel about that. There's just so much going on in May that takes up a lot of brain space. It takes up a lot of money. It takes up a lot of energy. And I'm just starting to come to the conclusion that I don't feel like there's any month in the year that just feels like you can just be. I don't know. I don't even know anymore. This podcast episode has no rhyme or reason. It's really just about, we're venting here about going downhill and uphill and all around the hills. And I just want to feel like things are easy breezy, and that's not possible all the time. And I get it. So if it's not possible all the time, what are the things that we can do to make things as easy as possible? How does that look for you? What can you set up? You have to have systems. You have to have process. And you have to be discerning about what you say yes and no to, what you sign up for, what you consume. We have got, even just the podcast, right? think about all the ways I have to market this podcast. And I wish it was as simple as I press record and I upload it and it's out on all the, and it's on all the apps. And that's the easiest part of this whole thing. But that's not enough. You've got to market on social media. You've got to let people know that listen to you already. You've also got to find ways to get new people in the door. And then there's so many different platforms, and trying to keep up with it all and keep up with life, I just feel like I'm drowning. And these pop-up events, y'all, with the pop-up events, like it's just, here's a great example of a pop-up event. So I manage, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's actually more than that, but some of them all come to my through my Gmail. I manage actively about 5 different inboxes. One is mine that all my different website emails come into one. One is a personal, and then I have 3 different client emails that I am in every single day managing for different client projects. You've got to be on in their email domain and whatnot. So on one of my client emails last week, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I can't log in. And it just sends me on a loop. It's a nonstop loop-de-loop. It's not telling me to change my password. It's not telling me my box is full. It's not telling me anything. The only thing it's telling me is this is a Microsoft product, and that tells me everything I need to know. I despise Microsoft. They have the worst user experience. Their stuff is clunky. It never works right. The formatting if y'all know, you know, the formatting from online to desktop does not convert. It is awful. I digress. So all of a sudden this is happening. I've got things to do. We're all busy here. We all have deadlines. We all have tasks. It takes about, I would say all in all, about 2 hours to fiddle with it, mess with it, diagnose it. We end up getting on a call, a colleague and I, and screen sharing and trying to figure out and everything like that. It got fixed, but that's a pop-up event. It was not planned. It's something that came up today. There was a pop-up event this morning with something with school, with some decisions that are being made. And I wish sometimes that I could easily just compartmentalize and move on with the day, because I only have certain hours that I can work uninterrupted by my children while they're at school. And sometimes I just have to tell my brain, you need to work on this. You just can't work on it now. It's kind of like food. You can have this. You just can't have it now. So all these different pop-up events, and they take you away from what you're working on. They take you away from, when you have to constantly task switch in your brain, it takes time to get back into what you were doing, especially when you are doing creative work where you are having to create something from nothing, right? That is very hard to get back in the flow. And when you're in the flow, it just feels so good. It feels so amazing. And when you get taken out of that, it sucks. And, I try to manage my day in a way that anything that's like admin, task, I need to call somewhere, I need to look up an email, I need to, look up a form or something like that, like a lot of the personal tasks, even the business admin stuff. I try to do those things in the afternoon when the kids are having quiet time or the kids are on their tablets, and I, have to have one ear open and one ear closed. And sometimes you just aren't able to do that. And sometimes things end up taking way longer than they're supposed to, it's crazy. And I'm really tired of the rush. I'm tired of feeling like there's not enough time in the day and burning the candle at both ends. And this month I have really been burning the candle at both ends, even more than I normally do. And I'm sure it's because I'm slow a little bit with everything that's happened, and my brain just hasn't been, at full capacity. But going back to just slowing down and going downhill, I normally Javi's been too young, so he hasn't been able to do like the summer camp thing. But Catalina has done summer camps pretty much every year since she started school. They have like little theme camps at her school that they'll do just for the week. It's half a day, but it's something I don't want my kids to sit here all summer and brain rot and couch rot. I don't want that. And I don't believe in having your kids just sit at home for 3 months, but I also don't have the capacity to be super mom every single day and take them places. In the afternoons, sure, we can go do things, but I don't want them to just be sitting around every single day. But also, the idea of not having any expectations is kind of nice too. So I'm kind of on the fence with that right now, and I'm not really sure what we will do. And maybe the break is what we all need. I don't know. But what I do know is things do need to slow down. Things need to go downhill in a positive way, because I have had enough of downhill bullshit. I have had enough. I don't need to learn any more lessons. I don't want to be taught any more lessons. I don't want to have any more hard times. The past almost 8 months have been extremely, extremely difficult and challenging, and I'm done. I'm done. I want to feel ease. I want to feel lux. I want to feel peace. And I want to feel slower. Frank and I talk all the time about moving out of the country and slowing down. And I have said that shit for years. And it's kind of like that half joking, half not type of thing. But quite frankly, the idea of moving to an island that is somewhere else, out of the rat race, out of the bullshit, everybody moves slower. Everybody talks slower. Nobody's in a rush to get everything done, and you don't have to do all of these things, and you don't need to work as hard because you don't need as much. That sounds really nice. It really does. And, so I don't know. But it's definitely there in the back of my mind, even more than usual. And, we just want to go downhill. We want to coast. We don't want to, I'm not interested in climbing the ladder, you guys. I'm not interested anymore. I don't care. I have a certain way I want to live my life, and I don't need all of the praise and accolades and all of that bullshit. I don't need it. I don't want it. I just want to feel at peace. I don't want to be stressed out. And yeah, I don't know. And going back to like diet in the sense of what we're eating, not on a diet, but like back to my diet and workouts and weight loss journey, I've stalled. I'm just kind of stalled out because it hasn't been a priority for me. It hasn't been a focus. And so this weekend when we went bike riding, even Frank was like, wow, you like everybody, we have like this joke because the last time in October that we did this trip that I was talking about, the 8-mile thing, I was struggling a little bit. I'm not going to lie. And had to stop a lot. This past time, I don't even think I needed to stop. The only reason we stopped is because like Catalina needed juice or needed, her blood sugar got low or she got really thirsty. But other than that, I personally didn't really need to stop. And even Frank noticed, he's like, you did so much better this time. And I'm like, I know. And I'm like, and I thought to myself, I was like, is it because I lost weight? And I was like, no. The sad truth is it's not sad. Let's reframe. I've been the same weight basically since last fall. I've been like in the high 190s. I haven't really lost anything. And so it's not that. And it's not like I've been going hard, working out every day and being intentional, because I haven't. And it got me thinking, you know how I'm always saying to you guys, if not now, when? And I'm feeling that. I want to get healthier. I want to get in shape. I want to get this last bit of weight off. And when I look at it, it's probably like 30 pounds. if that. I want to get this last like 30 pounds off of me. I want to, and it's not like, and when I say all of this, it's not like the olden days where I want to just lose weight because I want to lose weight and I hate myself and all. It's not that at all. It's just, I really, truly want to be healthy. I want to be strong. I want to put my body in the best shape possible. I've also shared with you guys my cardiac journey where I've got I inherited some heart issues with my heart valve. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when I will need to have the surgery. Hopefully not till I'm elderly and, way up there in age. But when that time comes, I don't want to be overweight. I want my body to be in the best possible condition if I'm going to have my chest cracked open. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to really buckle down and not diet. I want to just continue to improve my lifestyle. And when I sit here and think about where I am now and where I was, it's definitely very drastic. It is very drastic in how I think, how I think about weight and food and all of those things, and the way that I eat every single day. It feels like it's always been like this, but it hasn't. It hasn't. Going on 8-mile bike rides and throwing apples and bananas in the bag. Like, I didn't do that year. Like, I wouldn't even have gone bike riding back in the day. I told y'all, I didn't even start eating bananas till I was like in my early 20s. And I'm not kidding. Like, that's crazy town. Crazy. So things have definitely evolved and changed, and I'm ready to go to that next level of, all right, we've gotten I'm down over 70 pounds. Let's get to the next 30. We're going to finally say we've lost 100 pounds. Get in shape, get muscular, get fit. I want those things. Like, and Frank and I both want those things, like he has lost so much weight. He's like hardcore in the gym, lifting, looks amazing, is probably the healthiest and most fit that I've known him since he was 24, 25, like probably the healthiest that he's ever been in his entire lifetime, actually, even when he was young. So I want to get on the same level and up my game with my fitness as well. I want to be here a very long time for my kids. I don't want to be struggling. I don't want to be, not able to do things. I don't want that for myself. I want to take care of what I have and be the best version and continue to work towards that irresistible you and, keep plugging away at it, right? Like keep plugging away at it and slow down a little bit. I don't know how much things can get slower on certain things, but it's just, you have certain hustle and bustle seasons, and I would like the summer to feel fun. I would like the summer to feel easy. I would like the summer to even feel luxurious. If we want to get up and say, oh my God, today let's drive to the mountains. That's luxury to me. That is a luxury to me when you have the ability to say, you know what? I have today's pretty open. I could go ahead and just take off and we're going to go do that. That feels really exciting and fun. And that's what I am striving to do and make those memories with my kids. Like I want to spend time with them and make the most of it. And, I don't know how this is going to sound, but I have the ability to be out of town more, right? We travel with Chuy a lot and we took him a lot of places, but there was also a lot of places that are not welcoming to dogs and we would not be able to take him. And towards the last couple years, we didn't really have anywhere to bring him. And he cannot go, or he could not go to like daycares or, dog boarding places. They would call us and tell us to come get him. I'm telling you, he was a spicy nugget through and through. He liked who he liked, and that's how it was. And as he was older, it was a little bit harder to take him certain places because he just couldn't handle it. And now that he's gone and we don't have him at home, I don't feel that pull to rush home. I don't feel that pull to be like, oh, well, we can't stay out late, or we can't stay overnight somewhere, or whatever. So, this summer with the kids, I can do more of that. And, even though like Frank was here, he's working at night. So it was still a long day for Chuy if we weren't going to be home. And so, I want to do more things with them, take them more places, make more memories. They love doing stuff like that. And that's my love language. My love language is experiences and travel. That is how I like to show love to my children. I don't love to sit on the floor and play pretend with Barbies. I don't enjoy it. I know my kids enjoy it and I'll do it, but I just like, this is not my thing. Pack up the car. Let's go to a museum. I got snacks. We're going to stop at this restaurant on the way home and we'll buy you this at the gift shop, like all day long. I love to go places and do adventures and travel. And that is my love language. That's how I show love to my children. That is I love to give them that education because it's an education as well when you're going to places. So, I want to be able to do that. I want to also just sit by my pool and drink margaritas and just live life. Just live life. And so things are, a lot of positive things are coming. They're going to open the pool. We're scheduled for next week sometime. So they're going to come here, get the pool ready. Very excited about that. Very excited to just go to the beach more. I'm 10 minutes away from the beach. It's an easy thing to do. Load up the car and go. And then Catalina and I are going to diabetes camp. So we started going last year. It's a weekend. It's all children with living with type 1 diabetes. And it's about as rugged as I'm going to get. I don't camp outdoors. I've never done it. I've never been interested in doing it. I'll glamp all day long. We can go in a luxurious cabin. Girl, yes. The place where the camp is, you're in a cabin, but they're pretty rugged. And I'm very bougie girly, and for me, it's rugged. So y'all can say what you want to say about it, but okay. We go horseback riding. We do, what is it called? It's not kayaking, canoeing, archery. She did something last year called flying squirrel, where it's not like bungee jumping, but they like hoist you up on this thing and you fly around. I'm like, no, But my kid is very adventurous. She's gone zip lining. She loves all of that stuff. She got her dad's adrenaline junkie side. And, it's a nice bonding thing for her to like be around other kids with diabetes. It's also good for me to meet other parents and just to have that one-on-one time with her. It's family camp. So next year, Frank and Javi should be able to go because Javi will be old enough. But like even last year, even if Javi would have been old enough, we can't take Chuy with us, right? So next year, we'll see if the boys come along with us as well. But it's a really good time. And I think it's also nice for the siblings to see and experience what their siblings go through, which, Javi's very self-aware about her. It's really cute, honestly. Like, hey, like, Sissa, your sugar's low. You need to go get a juice. Let me get it for you. Like, he's very tuned in. And I love that for both of them to have each other as they get older and to look out for one another. But we're going to be doing that this weekend. So I'm going to look at that as a reset. I'm going to look at that as it's the last weekend of April. We've got some downtime. We're going to go to this camp. We're going to just be in nature. We're going to touch grass, and we're going to reset our mental state, our emotional state. We're going to reset ourselves so that we go into May and the summer renewed and refreshed and ready for a new season, in literally and figuratively, right? So anyway, I don't know if this episode makes any sense. I just know that I wanted to get on here and talk and share, and I'm sure there's something that somebody out there is relating to in some way. So if you are feeling the crunch, if you are feeling the end of the school year, beginning of summer, it's right around the corner, crunch, you're not alone. You are not alone. I hear you. I am with you. I am right there along with you. We are both in this journey together, and we're going to get through it. We're going to be fine. Take a deep breath, take a step back, go write it all down. Write it all down. You know I love my digital, but get out a piece of paper, get out a pen, and just write everything down, because when you're constantly processing in your head, you can't organize and determine, okay, and triage, what do I need to do now? What can wait? And what is a nice to have? You have to constantly be processing. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. And yeah, I'm going to catch you in the next episode. Again, I want to remind you that there is a VIP private podcast. So if you love listening to me, if you like the weekly episodes, you are going to love being in the private podcast, which is also part of the online course that I have created, and it has evolved over the years. So when you sign up, you are getting access to the online course portal. And in that course portal, you have course videos, worksheets, workbooks, you have resources within there. And then now the most recent thing that I added on this year is the VIP private podcast feed. So you can essentially listen to the course on the go. It is literally all of the video modules that are in the course in audio only form. And I, as a learning and development professional, can tell you that learning via audio is incredibly powerful. I listen to podcasts all the time in the car. And I am not kidding you. When I go past certain landmarks or places that I drive to, I will, without it, it's like it pops up in my brain, this nugget or this thing that I heard on a podcast, because it gets triggered by where I am in the car and what I'm, where I'm driving. So learning by audio is very powerful. So I would love for you to go ahead and sign up. The link is irresistibleicing.com/course. That will give you the details on everything that's included. I have client testimonials. I have little snippets of videos and what's in the course. If you have specific questions, you can always reach out to me. The best place to do that would be over on Instagram at irresistibleicing. That's my my screen name, and you can just send me a DM over there if you have questions, and I'd be happy to answer those for you. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Make sure you go ahead and leave a rating and review on the podcast. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Make the best of it. Everything's going to be okay. Until next time, stay irresistible. Bye, guys.